Hey guys, welcome back to the Board Pod.
Episode something in the teens because we've forgotten. And
Yes, we've taken a little bit of a break, but we are back. And would you say we're better than ever?
you look better than ever.
Oh, thanks, Sam.
It's been Easter long weekend, so I feel like we've had a few moments to sit back, reflect, and get back into the flow of the things that we really want to do. And so we're back on the podcast journey. What's on the agenda today, Von?
Well, okay, so we finished the long weekend, and normally on a long weekend you relax, rejuvenate, recover. That is something that I think I am incapable of because I started a new venture.
You know what I'm going to do this weekend?
4 days. Yeah. And so, yes, I chatted to Sam and said that I really wanted to reinvigorate the marketing canvas, which a lot of you guys wouldn't be aware. It was just like a handle that I'd held on to for the last few years. And my goal was always to be able to educate people through marketing and through business and using a vehicle that was separate to Vonnimedia and even separate to my personal account. And so I've been holding on to it for like the perfect time. And of course, there's no perfect time. You just need to get started. And so over the long weekend, I produced a newsletter and a series of posts, and we'll be making it a regular thing. And what's so great about it is that the content that I'm putting in there is stuff that I see anyway. Like it just goes into like my 1 of 40 notes that I take every single day. And so I might as well make it pretty, might as well share it. And yeah, I couldn't be more excited to say what's going on every day in my brain and what I research and be able to give it straight away to people. Like so awesome.
I was going to say we should have just changed the name from the marketing canvas to Von's Notes app, because it is a summation of all the great things that you're writing down. And really it's like you taking the time to distill it for all of us. We've spoken about it on the podcast before of the 8 hours of research that we're doing a day. You're just distilling that down into a very digestible reading format for people. And also it's probably helping you crystallize thoughts, just like this podcast helps us crystallize our perspective on things. I walk out of this moment of like, we just had a discussion on something and it helps me progress my thinking further, and it's the distillation. So I'm really looking forward to reading your newsletter every week. And so if you're looking for a newsletter to read up on marketing tips, it's just in your inbox and you can read it on the train or when you get into the office on a Monday. There it is, the marketing canvas. Check it out. How'd you go about launching it?
Well, I just wanted to keep it simple, stupid in a way. So I thought that was the best practice because otherwise you can get bogged down into making it, a global brand and trying to, and I love all of that. But I had to just take a step back and go, if it's going to be a newsletter, write the newsletter. And does it need to be on a perfect landing page? It could have been, but I decided to go with something really simple and effective that I'd seen tried and true. That was pretty simple to do. And I kind of worked backwards. I went with the posts first. So I've done all of the posts that I wanted to do. And then that kind of formed the newsletter. So I didn't feel kind of that overwhelm. I kind of took it post by post, if that makes sense. All in all, I think it just came naturally to me. These are things that we recommend to our brands to do on the daily. So to recommend these or like to implement those things felt probably easier than the average person.
Definitely. And it reinforces the message that marketing doesn't need to be complicated, doesn't make it easy, but simple, give a message out to the world and see what sticks. And if you've got a message to share, even if you share it with one person, that's just like having a conversation. So share the message. And I think sometimes we get it complicated and bogged down into tech and all these optimizations where the actual value for people is just in the content. Just make it, post it, send it out.
Yeah.
Send it out weekly.
And it's good if you have a standard of where you want to get the brand to. I think that hold on to that. I don't think let that go, but also just be, realistic around getting started and being okay with it, looking, a little bit, homegrown if that's what you choose to do to get it off the ground. And so in this instance, that's the avenue that I've taken. And I feel it to be very freeing because then I don't have to feel like I have to invest a lot of different suppliers right now, and it's just coming authentic to me, and it was super fun to do. And even the process of being able to just put together the ads and the graphics and the designs and stuff, like I got a lot of enjoyment out of that because I felt like I was really solidifying those learnings of everything that I was taking in. You can take notes and copy paste stuff all day, but if it doesn't really set in, it's like reading something through AI and then you're like, wait, I forgot what AI said. And it's because you didn't actually take the time to digest it, teach it, transform it. And so this process is great for that aspect. But I think just more so, I felt really selfish being able to learn all these cool things. Like even to my team, probably only like 1/6 of it maybe gets distilled down to a team level. So to be able to just have a moment in the week to compile it all is really fun.
Yeah, it's a good lesson for business owners, particularly in email. I think it's one of those channels where we have turned it into an advertising channel versus what it's actually meant for, which is communicating one-to-one. And so being able to communicate one-to-one rather than just trying to say, buy my stuff, it's actually just like, hey, here's something you might find interesting.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful. We see the brands that do it well, build real, your newsletter subscriber rate and subscribers and readers should grow over time, not shrink every time you send an email.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Definitely. Oh my gosh.
And so I think a lot of brands that send a lot of emails and use email marketing as a channel. Yes, sure, there's a place and time for ads, but also you need to give value. And to drive engagement and trust with people, you need to give value. And so I'm looking forward to the value you give. We're not trying to sell anything through that channel. It's purely just because you wanted to do it.
Yeah. I have been really looking forward to making a platform to be able to share marketing and business content that felt like a really expressive place to be able to do that. And so this profile and brand, I think I've had it since, I think the first post says 2022, but I know that there was, before that post, there was even earlier posts.
It was the early iteration of the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. I did have a few, probably 3 or 4 episodes that I did called The Marketing Canvas, and it was a podcast. So how funny is that?
We won't bore you with any more advertising of our newsletter. And so let's move on. Let's move on to the next.
Sorry, everybody.
There was a 2.5 minute ad.
No.
Fun learning. Look to see where it goes. Again, all for fun and games. So that we'll share the lessons here so people can learn from them.
Yeah, that's true. Add more value to this podcast for sure. I think another thing that's happening for me, because I went through the process of building ads for gaining subscribers for the newsletter as well. So that was really fun. And so I was trying to see if AI could pull off some adverts and things as like just testing it over the weekend. My consensus, and this is obviously limited to my own ability to be able to generate prompts and do things. For me, it wasn't quite there. Like my frustration over like being patient for its potential delivery was favored, as in like I was more frustrated than I was like enjoying the process.
What was frustrating you?
I think it was, I mean, it's not its fault. It's a person. I think its ability to be able to take what it usually does in a written word and be able to distill and create something still structurally sound. I don't know. I feel like the principles of design are fundamentally still a bit missing through this image generation.
Yeah, it regenerates the whole image every time you query it. So it's not like making adjustments to the existing image. It almost like redoes the whole process. It doesn't take the existing image and translate your changes.
No.
Which is probably, that's what I've distilled my experience down to. It's almost better to start again with a better prompt.
Yeah, or you could even insert what it did, say what was wrong with it, and then but put it through a new prompt. And the reason why I was giggling before is because this literally happened and it was the most funniest thing. I was, just wanted to make a Barbie doll. You've probably seen them. I'll post the one that I made of my friend here. And it was so like, I don't know, I spent like way too long on it, probably 45 minutes just generating prompts to get it to the perfect Maddie style doll. So just analyze it here. You can see there's a coffee cup. You can see that there's a stain remover that's misspelled, but whatever. An asthma puffer. There's her phone with a lilac phone case. Very iconic, right? Just for her.
For her. Yeah, I was going to say no one else in the podcast cares, but yeah.
Yeah, this is very her coded. Anyway, so then I sent that to her. She was like, oh my gosh, I love it. Da, da. And then she's like, oh, can you help me make a graphic for a charity that I help support? And I was like, oh, sure. Well, whilst I'm on a roll in this AI image generation, let me give it a go. And it had been out for like a handful of days, so I was really eager to use it. So I ended up on top of that Barbie doll prompt, then start prompting it for this charity, market stall thing. Put it through and I was like, oh my gosh, here you go, like funny. And so I sent it to her, and then a day later she goes, Von, you need to look a little bit closer at this image. And I was like, what? I don't see anything wrong. And she goes, no, look at the feathers. And I was like, the feathers? Oh my gosh. And if you see it, and if you haven't seen it yet, just pause this podcast to go and look at it. Or if you're listening audio, I don't know what to tell you. Just go and watch the YouTube video to see. But essentially, I'll verbalize it. It was the asthma puffer from the Barbie doll image that had become this like same color as the feather. And so this could have gone out to like a really beautiful charity with feathers, and then in the middle of the page, an asthma puffer. Yeah, like, whoa, that could have been really bad. And I didn't even notice it. Like, it was proper miss my eye. And so there's a lesson. Whenever you're wanting to make something new, please do a new chat and a new prompt.
I saw this with a brand who did this with a piece of creative, and they ran an ad with a spelling error in it. And so they ended up just taking that and then amplifying it further. It was like, oh, sorry, our creative team wrote this on Monday. So like there's a way that you can like play against it.
Yeah, an asthma puffer for
Yeah, it's like, oh, sorry, I was out of breath when I made this. Yeah. There's your anyway. It's a funny tool to play around with. Like I'm enjoying it. I'm finding it like if you're a business owner or a marketer and you're like, how do I use this tool effectively? I think the most useful thing is actually in previous visualization when you're making creative. So it's actually like helping with the brief for a creative to go to a designer. So you can say like, here's a couple of images that I've generated. This is what I like and don't like. What do you think? And then including that as part of your brief. I am, however, seeing other agencies in our space use it to run ads for their business. And I'm like, they're reasonably good quality. Yeah. Like they're running ads. And I watch someone like that hits the mark. They've got the marketing message nailed down. Like there is a world where you just accept that. I think if you took your face off it and we renamed Vonnimedia, you'd be way more open to try it. Like running ads. Like I've even seen things of marketing agencies using visual hooks like gaming videos. Because people watch gaming videos and like they're enjoying the video while they're telling you a marketing message, which is a very common thing to do on YouTube Shorts, starting to seep its way into Instagram. But again, all AI generated, AI voiceovers, AI scripts, AI creative. There is a world where it does work. You just got to accept that you're probably going to get a few things that you probably don't love.
Yes, but nonetheless, I do see that if you do prompt it and you give it like a really wonderful piece of creative or whatever you do, it can actually turn out amazing. It's just whether you're willing to trade off the time of that blur that happens for about a minute and a half whilst it loads and what you could actually be doing, I guess, with your time, because it can take an hour, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you run the prompt and then you go do something else, you come back like, oh, it's done.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's much quicker than briefing a designer. Designer does the design, comes back to you with the design. You review the design. You go back to the designer. It comes back 3 days later.
I know. I still think there's still some QC errors that I wouldn't depend on it. It's like a nice to have to see how you go, but I would definitely have your creative like key people in your life, like on speed dial still, because I do not think that it's there yet.
Yeah. We don't have to justify the need for designers. They exist and they are valuable. I think what's going to be really interesting is when you can export it to a Canva or Photoshop file and actually just edit it.
Yeah, well, I've seen that already on TikTok that you can do it. They have Canva integrations and Figma integrations as well. I don't see it on my end, so I'll have to have a look into it. Yeah,
you need to connect your Canva into your ChatGPT.
Okay.
And also same with Figma. There you can add the inside of ChatGPT, you can add different modules.
Oh.
So then you can just go and change the things that you want to change. So
interesting. Sam, what is next on the docket for today?
Something I've been thinking a lot about, and we actually had a conversation at a barbecue last week about was I actually think remote working is a massive career limiter, and something that I am seeing more and more and experiencing more and more is the value of in-person connections. And I didn't realize how valuable it was to get us to where we are today until we had the absence of it. And now it's coming back. I'm like, wow, the opportunity is so much larger than I originally realized. And one of the reasons for that is I went to an event last week. I'm not going to go into it because they don't want to make it too big of a thing. Basically, they don't want to make it an ick. So I'm not going to make it an ick. But it was a great event. Just hanging out with people, just chats, drinks, catching up. But just the conversations of like casual interactions with people was something I haven't had for 3 or 4 years and have gotten back in the last 12 months. And it was just that reminder of just how important that is. Any one of those people could end up working here, or could be a client, or we could partner together. And those interactions don't just happen online very easily. Like you've got to really work to have those casual interactions in the digital world. And then I started reflecting on our team and how our business functions and just like how quickly you can solve problems in person. And it just reminds me of why it's so important that we do come into the office a couple of days a week. Look, I'm the first person to say that I don't really want to work from the office every single day and I have to be in here from 9 to 5. Like that's not how my brain functions. And I do need time to just like recede into my own space and do the work that I've been wanting to do and just focus on projects. But at the same time, like today we pulled the whiteboard out for the first time in so long, drawing out processes. And we all agreed across the business of how this process was going to happen in like 10 minutes.
Versus like what would have been like, I'll see you next week in this meeting, or like in next quarter, we can put more of a focus.
Yeah, it's just like, this is the process. Let's build towards this.
Yeah.
Change management, even just doing that example, I now no longer need to convince 5 other people that this is the right way. Everyone's bought in already.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Easy. Yeah.
That just saved us 10 hours of inertia in an organization. And I can think of probably 6 occurrences of that exact thing happening today.
Yeah.
And I think I now need to go and convince the people who are online of this new process. And I'm dreading it.
You'll be fine.
No, but it's an example of why we need this.
Yeah.
And so
it definitely does make a difference. I was watching Stephen Bartlett last night. He's been putting up some really great vlogs of behind the diary because he runs our Diary of a CEO podcast. Very popular. And he was speaking about how he has everyone in the office 5 days a week. And that has been incredible in terms of collaboration, being able to connect on ideas quickly, be able to have the camaraderie of one another. Like when you're all in 5 days a week working on the dream and the goal together, he's like, that is where the most amount of momentum wins for him. And he just doesn't really believe in the power of remote work. I find it hard overall to fully agree with that. Although I net agree with that, I do agree with you, Sam, that like sometimes those work from home days where you're able to just, that stillness is actually a really great incubator for creativity, for momentum, for productivity, just in a different way. And I look forward to those days to be able to work on the things that office environment tends to be a bit of an environmental distraction. So I think we've got the balance, at least for now, in a reasonable position. But there is something that's, say for example, Stephen Bartlett, like he's a disruptor. He's making the world change. And so I don't know if we're making the world change, but it's something that I battle with a lot because I'm not going to make any changes. I think I'm fine. But I do wonder if, we need to make
they
a
say
change like what he does.
The biggest constraint on a business is its owners. And these limiting beliefs that we create or perspectives may be the reason that things aren't moving. Also, I believe that the environment is amazing that we've created here.
Yeah, I do.
So I actually think the reason you need the work from home days to have the stillness is because on the days that we're in here, we slam them full of meetings. So the days that you don't have meetings are the days you're at home.
Yeah, that's true. We have actually shaped it around communication. Heavier days are in office. Yeah.
Whereas if you didn't have that as the case, you wouldn't have days full of meetings.
Yeah, maybe not. Anyways, not making any decisions.
Not making any decisions,
podcast.
But that conversation that I had at the event that I was at reminded me just of how important it is to go to events, and also it inspires me to also throw more events or organize events, just like, and they don't need to be big, like extravagant flowers and photo walls and all this stuff, which all the brands want to do. And I like, great for you. I just like sitting around a table and chatting with 5 to 6 people that are somewhat interested in a topic, and just debating the topic and just hearing perspectives and asking questions. Like I would just love that every week. 5 to 6 people in a room or at a bar or in a cafe, just debating ideas. And so,
oh, I love that. Well, if anyone's listening and they want to be able to, join you in that, you should
Yep.
you should hit Sam up.
We should do it.
Yeah.
Your marketing canvas will be your newsletter, and I'll do the 5 to 6 people around a table, having dinner and drinks and hanging out and just learning from each other, and we'll see how we go. And we'll report back.
That'll be fun.
It will be. And so, that's going to be my focus, is like that space of just like getting out and connecting with people. I think Australia is really bad at this, by the way. I think the community is like,
I will admit,
so bad in Australia for that kind of activity, unless you're in the clique. And I think once we get, it's like being fit. I think if I can start this process of doing this, it will actually, I'll just get gym fit or like dinner, lunch fit, and it will just happen more frequently. So I'm really keen to do that.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
That sounds good. I love that, Sam, like connecting with others. And they always say like you can't level up without another person. So I think
it's less about that. I think it's more just.
You learn, you grow.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just forcing interactions a little bit more. And so, yes, it takes a little bit of effort to get there, but it's always
But everyone's doing it too. Like everyone's putting the effort in for, that challenge or that takeaway, which I think is a really beautiful thing when you like go do it versus when you don't do it. Also, speaking of, we're going to be we're going to Cairns Crocodiles in, is that what it is? Cairns Crocodile?
I don't know, some big media event in Cairns for marketing and media in Australia. When are we going? 12th of May?
It's in the middle of May, yeah.
So if you're there, come say hello, and it's going to be fun. I don't know. I've never been before, so hopefully don't get eaten by a crocodile.
No, to stay away from the water. But no, it's the best. It was such a great week. Incredible people. It's an incredible industry. It's such a vibrant industry. So no, from the people, what they put on as like parties and displays, they invest heavily up there. So it's
it'd be a laugh. I think we're toddlers going into a teenage party, and so we'll just be the ones kicking and screaming and having a bit of fun.
Yeah, but you know what? I would say that everyone who's a part of that industry has been so incredibly just welcoming to us. Not like us specifically, but just like it is a really friendly industry actually. Like everyone's keen to collaborate. Everyone's keen to have a conversation. I don't think there's, at least on our point of view, I don't know, it's like anti-hostile. It's like marketing, right? It's like the best kind of...
Yeah, if marketers can't throw a good conference, who can't? Who can?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so we're a bit of a laugh. We'll be up in Cairns for 12th to the 17th, and then we're going to try and do some. And then you're back for Fashion Week, right? You fly back in straight.
I have to leave early. Yeah, I'll be leaving the event early to then be on the final day of Fashion Week.
It'll be fun. Yeah. Amazing. All right, we're going to wrap it there and see how we go next week. And thank you for listening.
Of course. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next podcast.